Hello and welcome to the Bald Ambition podcast. I'm your very bald host, Mookie Spitz. I'm thrilled to have Martino Chiaviello on the pod today. Welcome aboard, Tino.
What's up, Mookie? Happy to be here. Excited to catch up today.
Me and Tino go way back to our agency days. And Tino's now rocking it on Tino Reviews, which is, and we'll go into it in a second. I came across you on TikTok, an old face, deja vu all over again. And you're doing the review. You're reviewing products. You're doing the affiliate social media marketing influencer dance. You're doing it really, really well. And I thought I'd bring you on the pod as really just an awesome case study in picking up a phone, giving it a whirl, and then growing your audience. I just checked this morning. You've got 101,000 followers on TikTok, something like 240,000 likes on your videos, and you're posting, looks like daily.
Oof.
Turn us on to this, Tino. How did you get into it? How's it going? And what have you learned?
Yeah. So, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, Mookie. Look, this started as a little bit of an experiment. I started this maybe a little over a year and a half ago, and I consume a lot of content, right? Like, I used to watch YouTube videos, TikToks all the time, and I started watching people do these electronic reviews, right? Whether they were reviewing keyboards or they're reviewing like audio equipment. And I said to myself, I got a ton of this stuff. I'm like, and here's the thing, I'm also a professor, right? So I also teach digital marketing as well. And one of my things is if I can't talk about something, I shouldn't be teaching it, right? So I just dove in. I said, you know what? Let me dive in and let me just test this out. So I tested it out on TikTok, and every now and then I'll get one of those things on TikTok where it says, hey, this is on this day a year ago, and I'll look at that video and I will cringe, right? I will cringe.
What was your first review video? Do you remember what product was it? What'd you do?
I used to have it on my desk. I actually don't have it on here anymore. But my first video was a pair of earbuds. And I did the whole unboxing thing. I opened up the plastic and I got hey, here are these earbuds. Let's open this up together. Because I liked unboxing videos. That was like my thing.
It was like 5 minutes long or what?
Oh my God, it was like 10 minutes long, right? At that time, I think like TikTok was capping me at like 5 or 7 minutes or so. It was a very long one. But also, the way I was speaking was, hello, look at my unboxing. Let's do this together. And I look at it now and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? But that's how look, that was my first video. And with anything in social media and anything in life, right? You got to do it. You just got to put in the time. And I did that, right? Like, I figured out what was working, what wasn't working. And I just reviewed products that I had purchased or products that I had. And I did a lot of that. And I remember
it started on the fly. You just had an urge. You got a background in digital marketing, so that kind of came natural. You're a teacher, and you want to practice what you preach.
Yeah.
And then this is interesting to me is you just started with what you had around the house. Like, I'm gonna review this. You didn't have a sponsorship. You had no basis for doing this. They go, well, I'm going to pick this up. I got these buds, and I'm just going to do a review.
Yeah. I knew what I wanted to do, though, right? I knew I can talk passionately about, like, electronics, gaming. I knew I could do that, right? And so, like, that's what I did, right? I didn't go in and start reviewing, like, my appliances in my house, or I didn't start reviewing, like, my kitchen table. I knew I had a goal in mind. Right, I had a goal in mind, and what I wanted to do was like electronics or tech, and and I'll remember my first email that I got that somebody wanted me to review a product, and at that time I was at like I think maybe like 3 or 5 thousand followers, something like that. And it was a insert that you put in your cup holder in your car that you actually can put your phone into. And I remember it was like the first package I ever got. I was so excited. Like I high-fived my wife. I'm like, look at this. I got this for free.
And now, just for
Yeah.
clarity, the company emailed you directly, or was it
Yeah.
through the TikTok affiliate program?
No, they DM'd me. They DM'd me directly in the TikTok app.
In the TikTok app. So they see you doing it. You're about
Yeah.
3,000 or so
Yeah.
followers. You're cooking along, doing your own thing. And then that
Yeah.
was your first direct contact with a company
Yeah.
who's like, hey, we like your stuff, review our stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so exactly. They reached out to me. I didn't know anything about what I was doing except I was just reviewing the stuff that I had. I had actually bought some things. It also gave me an excuse to buy some things. And I was
Keep the wife happy, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was investing in myself a little bit. There were things that I saw on the TikTok shop that I actually did like, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna buy this." And I was, on the sly, I was buying it. But yeah, I was doing that, and then yeah, that was my first ever. The brand reached out, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do this, of course." And I did it, and it was fine, and it worked, and sold a couple units, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And I then then I went in on like, okay, well now I got to get my followers up. Now I got to create more content. Now I got to go do some things. So then I joined a couple of TikTok trends. There were a couple of places that you could go and you could do like follow for follow. And, because look, I was new to the game and I was trying everything, right? I was really trying everything. Um, so, I think the more I started doing it, the more brands started reaching out to me, the more on the back end of TikTok, you get these things called collab invites. And the more collab invites I was getting, right? So people brands would say, hey, here's a product, do you want to do it? And then you have to request it. And they actually still have an opportunity to say, to approve that, or they can decline it. And then it goes into the TikTok backend. You have like 14 days to make a video, and then everything gets tracked. But so then yeah, the more I started doing it, the more I started reading up on what works, what doesn't work. I started speeding up my videos.
Yeah,
Even
I noticed that too. I've been just doing my first person rants for the most part on
yeah,
TikTok. So, for curious observers, if you aren't on TikTok, you don't know me, I do first person rants for the most part in my kitchen, 1 to 3 minutes, and I do speed them up. To your point, I got feedback initially that I like what you're saying, dude, but I got to finish my breakfast before you finished. And I took
yeah.
that to heart and I speed them up 1.2, 1.4 to
Yeah.
to get to it. And you speed yours up too, probably for the same reason, right?
Oh my god, I talk so slow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
See,
do.
I'm Hungarian and you're Italian. So we
Yeah.
got we talk with our hands, we take our time, right?
These are the best things to do. Create that visual drama. Create that that conflict. Solve a problem, and that works for a lot of people, right? I'll tell you an example. There's this one thing that I see on my feed all the time. It's like 2 for 1, 2 for. There's like somebody screaming and like holding a product and like shaking it. It's like 2 for 1, and it's like, if that works for you, I applaud you. I applaud you. For me though, like I also know like I want to stay true to what I'm doing. And for me, it's not so much of um, converting. And yes, while I would like to convert a lot more, of course, that is an objective of mine. But I'm also trying to build something, and I'm in it for the long game. I'm not in it for like the short term. So I want to create a place where I can do a little bit more longer form, and that's okay. But I also do short form. I kind of mix it up. I play with it, and honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just having fun. I'm just really having fun.
Yeah, it looks like you're having fun. I mean, I'm entertained. I often don't care necessarily about the individual products themselves, but seeing you
Yeah,
do your thing,
Yeah.
on pretty much a daily basis is inspirational because you're a
Yeah.
burst of energy and enthusiasm, and
Yeah.
it is a lot of fun. How about
Yeah.
your effects, your visual effects, which seem to be minimal? So you set up your tripod, you just shoot yourself doing it, you showcase the
Yeah.
products, you're in and out in, I don't know, about a minute to 2 minutes max is usually on
Yeah.
average where you're at.
On average, yeah, about 2 to 3 minutes. There are longer ones where I'm at like 5, 6, 7 minutes. I try not to go anything longer than five, and that's for things where I have to do a little bit more of a deep dive. There are things like headphones that have like apps that I have to go into, or keyboards that people want to see, like they want to see the lights or they want to hear the sound. So I usually do maybe around 2 or 3 videos of each product. One maybe a longer form one maybe a shorter form one. Things like keyboards, there is a whole slew of people who love just hearing the sounds
Yeah,
of
the click,
keyboard.
click, click. You
The click,
open
the
with the
click.
click, click, click.
Some are clicky, some are clacky, some are thocky. I mean, I taught myself everything. I'm like, what is happening? But you know what? There are people, and also very successful channels. All they do is just do the clicks. It's a very ASMR thing. So anyway, at the end of the day, I'm just constantly testing, constantly learning, and constantly just having fun.
How do you do on the different channels? So you post on TikTok, I'm
Yeah,
assuming YouTube as well, right? Tino
yeah,
reviews on YouTube. Where
yeah,
else are you? And then how do you compare the efficacy of each channel?
yeah. Instagram too. Facebook. I'm on X and I'm on Threads, but those are just because I just want to test out those channels, right? I'm
Sure.
just strictly testing,
Do
and I
you
use them
use a
properly.
publishing tool? Do you use a
Yeah, of course,
calendar for blasting all this stuff out?
1000%. I could not do this all on my own.
Right.
There are creators who have teams of people.
Right.
This is just me in my basement in my office, just recording. Right? In a different world, if I had a team of people surrounding me, I'd have multiple people handling all the accounts. But no, I'm using repurpose.io, which I think is a pretty good software. You basically just it reads your last TikTok, it then downloads it, and then you can basically say where you want to put it, and you can schedule it out. It's pretty nice. It works really well.
And then what about the efficacy platform to platform? Now, my experience is, and this is kind of interesting. I'm wondering about yours. We have very very different types of content and very very different approaches.
Yeah,
But I've gotten exponentially better engagement in terms of views, follows, comments, and likes on TikTok than any other channel. Exponentially so. So the
yeah. So
exact same video
yep,
on TikTok goes to
yep,
Instagram, YouTube, Substack, Patreon even.
yeah.
And everything pales in comparison, even YouTube to TikTok.
So interesting. TikTok, yes, I get a ton of engagement on TikTok, and there's some videos that really blow up on TikTok. I started my YouTube channel a little while ago because again, I said to myself, look, I am investing a lot of time into TikTok. I do want to test out the other channels, and YouTube actually grew fairly quickly. I'm only at 3,100 subscribers on YouTube, but I get a ton of comments and engagement on YouTube, and I also get like a lot of the data from YouTube is, I think, just set up a little bit differently, so I understand what people like and what don't like on YouTube. I though am really only focusing in on TikTok right now, just because that's where I'm making the sales and that's where I'm trying to like you know kind of crack a nut, if you will, of how I can make more money and more sales on TikTok. But I am YouTube is the one where I'm focusing in on second, and I am actually going in and engaging with people. And the people there are interesting because they're adding in a lot more in-depth comments, and there are more things that I like am replying back to that takes a little bit of thought. YouTube is a really interesting, and it's the biggest search engine, right, in the world, right? If next to
I think
Google with YouTube.
second to
It's the
Google
second.
itself, and now the AI
Right.
bots are starting to carve in there. But
Yeah.
YouTube is
Yeah.
ginormous. People don't appreciate how
Yeah.
enormous it is, to the point where the Netflix purchase of Warner Brothers, part of the arguments for the non-compete,
Yeah.
or anti-monopolistic practices, is Netflix is arguing, look at YouTube. They're
Yeah.
so enormous in terms of streaming. We don't dominate. They actually dominate, and
Yeah.
they've got a point.
Yeah.
They've got a
Yeah.
point with how big it is. But what I'm trying to get at, though, is TikTok has an algorithm that, from my limited experience, even just ranting in my kitchen for a year, I got maybe 15,000 followers over a year of just me pontificating in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Instagram, I grew 25 followers with the exact same content.
Yeah. Yeah. Say I tend to, so while I think I have like 6,500 on Instagram, it is, and I'm using the exact same content,
Yeah,
same that
see,
you're
that's why
talking
it's a
about.
good A/B test between
Yeah.
channels. Same
Yeah.
hashtags, same content,
Everything is the same.
everything the same. Right.
Everything's the same. And my engagement on Instagram, almost nothing. Almost
Right.
nothing.
See, that's very,
It's
very
almost,
interesting.
it is.
Yeah.
It is really. I am waiting for the day that I can actually talk to somebody at Meta and say, "What am I doing wrong?" Right?
I
I'm
don't
getting
think
a
you're
ton of
doing anything
engagement.
wrong. I just think Instagram sucks. How's that for an
I,
answer?
I I will say this. I mean, and it's different from me and you, right? Because you're doing your rants and your content. For me, there is something different about the TikTok algorithm. If TikTok doesn't push out my videos, they don't make money, right? So I think TikTok is a little bit incentivized to try to push me in the right
But they're
places.
not making any. They want my money. They tease me. I have
Oh
like
yeah,
I have two types of videos. I've had several videos that have gone viral, and
yeah,
viral for a guy like me is, 50, 100, a quarter million views on a single video. They just they took off.
yeah,
And it was for two really select audiences where it resonated with what they were about. On the average, though, it's about 1,000 or under. And
yeah,
they play with me because they want money from me.
yeah,
You get it from your sponsors, right? And
yeah,
then TikTok makes money off the purchases and the ads. They don't make money off me. They want my money as a
yeah,
content creator, so they dangle the metrics in front
yeah,
of my face. Hey, Mook, did you like that 2,500 view video? Well, give us some coin, and then you could have that happen every
yeah.
day of the week. And I've
Right.
been stubbornly organic, partly because
Yeah.
I just want to see what can work here. So you're
Right.
right, the dynamic is different, but overall, you could see why TikTok is such a sensation, why it's creating so many political problems here too with the data privacy. TikTok has a better algorithm. It is
Yeah.
smarter
Yeah.
than Instagram by far. And I would
Yeah.
venture to assume even YouTube, it gets social better than the other channels.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, we could get into a much deeper discussion on why TikTok was banned and whatnot. I think they just knew the people better. Whatever the algorithm that they started with, it just really served you the content that you really wanted. And for me, I just remember being like on the app when I first started, and I just was seeing the exact things that I wanted to see. And now when I
Yeah,
go on,
it identifies and connects better. It
right,
also does a better job of providing your video where it's more appropriate. So here's one example. Every
yeah,
time I post something on Instagram, it barfs it out to all of my followers, regardless of content. Okay,
yeah,
it all goes out there.
yeah,
My content varies widely based on subject matter.
yeah,
TikTok doesn't do that. I've got, 15,500 followers, and I could tell based on the metrics that most of them never see my stuff. However, they'll see it if it's relevant to them based on their prior engagement. And that
Yeah.
does a lot. I've had my followers drop in Instagram because they're getting bombarded by my stuff, which they have no interest in. And
Yeah.
conversely, I've seen my follower base expand in TikTok because it's connecting people outside the For You suggestion
Yeah.
based on the hashtags, based on the content itself. It does a better
Yeah.
job mapping. Here's another cool aspect of TikTok that I've just noticed being a content creator is I've had certain viral videos that keep resurfacing. So they're out there in the
Yeah.
TikTok database and they'll keep blasting it months later to the same base and it all of a sudden gets reactivated.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything and I'm getting engagement on this video from 6 months, 8 months ago because the algorithm is smart. It keeps things in circulation that it deems relevant. None of that is happening on Instagram from what I
Yeah.
can tell. It's just out to your followers,
And
out to
that's it.
some people.
Yeah.
And, if it doesn't appeal, then you actually
Yeah.
lose followers and lose engagement.
Yeah. And to be fair, like for me, like I post a lot a day, right? And if people are following me, yeah, and if people are following me and they're automatically now seeing my face every other video, nobody wants that, right? Like, like nobody wants it's like my face a video, my face a video. I mean, my family hates me, right? Because they're like, oh my god, here's dad again.
Right.
Um, but TikTok has a really interesting feature. Have you tried Creator Search Insights?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So like I've actually done a whole test on that, right? And I've gone into that. And for those people who don't know, it's a part of TikTok where you just type in Creator Search Insights. It'll be like the first app that pops up, and then it'll tell you what's viral today. It'll tell you what your topics are, and then it'll tell you like topic gaps. And if they have topic gaps and they're suggesting those are the ones that they're going to push out because they're identifying that people in your niche aren't really talking about this and this may be something that they want to push out. So I've tested that. It actually does work. It actually gives you a lot of like
How do
data
you do
behind it.
that though for product placement? So, for example, I've checked
Yeah.
it out too because I'm a
Yeah.
digital marketer. My challenge is I'm just a stubborn creator. Whatever
Yeah.
pops into my head, if it's politics, art, culture, science, I'll just bloviate about it, and I don't even care. I'm not really
Yeah.
looking at the metrics just because
Okay.
I want to have fun. I don't want it to be work.
Yeah.
But when I have looked at these tools, I'll get stuff like people are talking about, regret. If I post something about feeling regret about what I
Yes.
didn't do in 2025, then to your exact point, it fits into that niche and presumably I'll get a bump if I
Yeah.
do regret as a topic in my video. I mean, how can you integrate stuff contextually within, let's say you're reviewing a keyboard or
Yeah.
buds or a knickknack for your car. I love your car videos, by the way. Those are
Oh my God.
fun. When you're out. How do you pump these insights into a product review?
Yeah. So every now and then I'll have some downtime and I'll go into that Creator Search Insights
Yeah,
tool, and they'll give you suggestions. By the way, and like honestly, like you, the suggestions that they give me sometimes are like things that I would never even talk about. Right?
right,
Like like what you learned in 2025, and I probably wouldn't be talking about that.
right.
But there is
Especially
a
for
search.
product review.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, but there is a search feature. So if I know I have like a couple of earbuds or headphones around, I know I have a ton of keyboards around, I'll type in, headphones. And they'll pop up the search terms. It's like headphones to wear at the gym or headphone reviews. And then there's also another aspect of that because they'll give you all the search terms and then they'll give you the how many people are talking about it or what the like the search volume is. And if there's anything that has a search volume of like 1000% plus, I'll quickly then just I'll pull up a pair of headphones. I'll make a quick video. It'll be a 60-second video. I'll use the creator search insights, and boom, I'll put it on. And I hope that it will basically take off a little bit more because I've used that hashtag.
So it's based on
And yeah,
search
it's based on search.
behaviors, not so much content itself, but what they're searching for, and then you match up with hashtags, and
Yeah,
then just the general angle of attack for whatever product you're going for. So if
yeah,
headphones are hot, go
yeah,
for it in that
yeah. And
moment, right?
exactly. And like I said, I've tried that before, and it works. It does actually give me followers. It does actually give me views, extra views. Where that does in terms of like product conversion, yeah, it maybe gives me a little bump.
And
But
how is your product conversion? You don't need to give away the goods here, but when you
yeah,
first started, you started building your base, and it sounds like you reached the tipping point. You reached your tipping point how many months in? Like, when did you first start? What your first video was when?
oh, I
Like,
can't
how
even
long
remember.
ago?
I wish I could remember. It was
It's
definitely,
about a year, 2 years.
definitely. It was probably a little. No, it was probably maybe a year and a half ago, maybe.
Okay, so about 18 months ago,
Yeah,
you post your first bud video. It's your own bud. You're not
yeah.
sponsored. And then what was it about? You said about 3 months after you're doing it, or 3,000 followers, you
About
get
three,
your
yeah, 3,000 followers.
3,000 followers, you get your first DM, your first contact with the
Yeah,
company, and your first officially sponsored review was
yep,
about 3,000 followers into it. When
yeah.
did you reach the critical mass where you were reviewing almost entirely sponsored products and you had the Tino reviews engine going? How long did that take? How many followers did you have? Do you remember those metrics at all?
Yeah, I think when I hit the like the 10,000 follower mark is when like they started approving my collab invites requests, my
Yeah,
sample
I think
request.
that's a minimum. That's the minimum basis for the official flip, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it is
no,
10,000 followers. I know I
no,
got a few messages then too,
yeah,
right?
no. I think it's like they've actually I think taken it down. It used to
Yeah, right,
be
right.
it used to be like 10,000. Then they made it like 1,000. I think it might be anywhere between 1,000 and 3,000. You can apply, and like
Right.
depending on your metrics, they'll approve you. At 10,000, you get offered the what is it, the creator ambassador program or the creative ambassador program. That's where you basically just make money off of your views and your engagement, right? Are you in that one?
I'm in that one, but I get pennies. I get enough to buy Starbucks.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
with 15,500 followers and 2 3 videos a day, with
yeah,
average views daily of maybe 2,000 views,
yeah,
my monthly return is
yeah,
is a visit to Starbucks.
yeah.
Because again,
No,
I'm
yeah,
not in an affiliate program. I'm not really selling product,
right.
and I'm not
It's
paying them to boost. So I'm
yeah,
kind of skirting along here. Right. Right.
yeah. So I think the thresholds have come down because I think TikTok saw like, okay, if we get more people to sell stuff, we can make more
Sure.
stuff.
Over
So
on a rising tides, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but where I think I started getting like an influx of like collab invites and people reaching out to me and brands reaching out to me, it started at around the 10, 15,000 mark. Um, I joined some programs. I always had WhatsApp, but then like WhatsApp is like the only tool that these brands talk on. So yeah, around the 15,000 mark was when I started getting maybe like one thing delivered to my door a day.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And we discussed this before we even jumped on, that your wife must be going crazy with your garage full of so much stuff, right?
Yeah,
Earbuds, cup
earbuds,
holders, LED lighting,
LED lights,
keyboards.
keyboards. I got a wall of keyboards.
Yes, yes.
I am definitely surrounded, and it's one of these days I got to look at everything. But I'm just, you know, my kid is looking at all this stuff and he's just trying to be like, Dad, I'm going to sell all of this stuff. I'm like, go for it. Right. So at some point I'll work with him on getting this stuff like out the door. But here's the weird thing is that sometimes like brands will send me something and then they'll reach out to me like a month or two later and say, hey, we need a couple more videos of that thing. So can you make a couple more videos? And, then we'll work out a deal on, per video, etc. So it's not one of those things where I can like do it and then instantly kick it out the door, because I've had a lot of brands do that where they'll send me something, I'll make 2 or 3 videos, and then they'll reach out a couple months later and say, hey, we'd love a couple more videos. We have like a sale coming or Black Friday is coming, etc. And then we work out a brand deal that way.
So about how much time elapsed for that flip? So from your early first video earbud to reaching the point when you're getting a product or two delivered every day to your house,
Yeah.
and you're cranking, how long did that take to build like that?
It was not. This is not an overnight success. I mean, maybe
That's what
like,
I'm trying to get
yeah,
at for
yeah,
people who think that they'll
it,
do, hey, you know what, I'm going broke, or the landlord's
yeah,
knocking on my door, I'm just going to be a TikTok influencer and reviewer
yeah.
like that. It doesn't happen that long. So about
No,
about 6 months or so, a year to
I
build
am.
up?
I am. I got a couple of things going against me. I am not that good looking to look at. I don't talk really well. Maybe I'm not that interesting. All I got is like a smile and my attitude. So I don't
Well,
know. Maybe.
that's 95% of it
Oof,
on
oof,
TikTok, and the remaining
yeah,
5% is persistence and frequency. You just do it a
yeah.
lot, and you do
I'd
it
probably,
regularly.
for me, it'd probably be flipped. It's like 95% persistence and frequency, and maybe 5% of my attitude. But I gotta say, it probably took I don't know, 8 to 9 months. People are looking at me. My family's looking at me, funny, like, really, what are you doing again? Why is
Yeah,
this? Oh, look at that, that's so cute. You're doing the TikTok videos. Oh yeah, that's fun. And you know what? I didn't care because I was just honestly at the end of the day, I'm just having a good time, right? Like I'm reviewing stuff that I like to review.
yeah,
I'm,
that shows. That
and
shows.
instead of me sitting down and consuming the content, I'm actually creating the content, right? And so I think that was a switch for me. It was like I was sitting there and just kind of scrolling through the videos, and there again, they'd be the same videos that I would want to create. So I said, instead of me spending that hour just doom scrolling, I now spend an hour and record like 4 or 5 videos. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I have an analogous experience too, where just being a content consumer, maybe an overshare on Facebook, it just, the light bulb went off, which is just, I love telling stories and I love just
Yeah,
going on and just go for it. And I spend on average, like you, maybe an hour a day, and I'll crank out 2, 3, 4 videos. And I've gotten to the point where I'm a one take wonder. I'll just
yeah,
pop it up. I just go for it based on some idea, and then I caption it. That's the extent. Speed it up, to your point.
yeah,
Speed it up a little bit. Caption it on InShot, and then boom, up on the platform,
yeah.
and then see what happens. You have minimal production too, so you're in the flow. You can do this pretty efficiently.
Yeah, yeah. I use CapCut just because it's an easy platform to use.
And
I
it's
use
integrated with TikTok. So if you're
yeah,
thinking of doing what Tino's doing, CapCut is really good, and it's
yeah.
I think it's part of TikTok too, isn't it?
I
CapCut
think
I
I think
think
they own it.
they're integrated.
I
Yeah,
think I think they own it. So
yeah,
yeah, it's easy integration. I used to caption my videos. The problem is it would actually exponentially take me a little bit more time
it
just
does.
because
It triples, quadruples the time. Yeah,
it does. I mean, like it never like when I say Tino, it always said Tina. Like it never got me right, and like however smart the algorithm is, it just couldn't get that. Like we were talking about Tino, and however
yeah,
I said Tino reviews, it still said Tina reviews. So like having to go in and adjusting that, and then the things that I'm reviewing, they have some funny names, and so I have to go into the names, and I'll mention the names 3 or 4 times inside of my video, and I have to go in and do that. So I used to caption them. I don't caption them anymore, and now like TikTok will just automatically caption them, and I'm okay with that for now.
You're good to go. Yeah, that
Yeah,
is the most time consuming aspect for me too. And you're absolutely right. Saying names of politicians, historical figures, anything,
right.
even when you select the American dialect English, it still is imperfect in terms of transcribing what you're saying.
Yeah,
And then punctuation and nuance, it's got no feel for that whatsoever. An exclamation point, an M dash,
yeah,
it
yeah,
can't quite get that yet. So that's the most time consuming. So given the fact that you don't caption and that you've pretty much got this as the Tino reviews machine,
yeah,
how long does it really take you to, all right, you get a product at your door and
yeah.
then your whole family is like, oh my God, another keyboard. And then
Another. Well, you nailed their thing perfectly.
their
They're like,
attitude,
oh my
right?
god. And then there's me on the flip side where I just have all of these packages in my hand. I'm like, look what I got today, and everybody's
Yeah.
just like, oh, we're gonna put this.
Every day is Christmas for Tino reviews. That's
I
really,
like
really
I
funny.
used to gather everybody around and like open the boxes. Hey, look what I got! Now they're just kind of like they see me in the pack, they run away. Like,
Yeah. No. The more stuff
yeah,
we're just
yeah,
packing the
yeah,
garage, and then Dad is off doing his crazy
yeah,
video stuff, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
so you get the package, all right. You
yeah,
do your own unboxing, whether or not your family thinks you're crazy or not.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then how long until that thing is up? How long does it take you to put
Um,
these together? Do you do any
so
rehearsals? Do you
uh,
practice? What's your mechanism for doing these?
yeah, so um, I don't do unboxings anymore. Just because I actually like watching unboxing videos, but I don't do unboxing videos anymore because that's a full like 1 minute of
Oh
time
yeah,
that like
and there, by the way, are whole channels of
yeah.
people who just unbox products. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
Like
I love it.
what the actual f, right? Yeah.
And if I found success in that, I'd have a lot of content to do. But I didn't find success in that. So I moved directly into like just the review section. Now, I do something a little different. There are some TikTok affiliates that will literally open up a box. They'll still have all of the packaging on the product. They'll still have the screen protector on the phone, and they'll say this is the best phone out there, or these are the best sounding earbuds.
Yeah. How do
And
you know?
how do you know? How do you know? So for me, I don't do that. Okay. And actually frustrates me when I see people doing that because it's like, you haven't even taken the screen protector off the phone. How do you know? And you're telling me this is the brightest screen on the market. I'm like, you haven't even turned it on. So for me, I don't do that. I will actually get a package. I will immediately charge whatever I get. I'll like turn it on. I'll set it up. I'll sit with it for like 5-10 minutes. In some cases, like earbuds, or headphones, I'll actually listen to them for like an hour, and I'll go through like my playlist. But I don't. It doesn't affect my personal time, right? Like I am gonna be listening to my headphones, listening to music while I'm working anyway. So like for me, like testing out headphones and earbuds, it's fine because I put them on, I'll be doing my work, I'll be listening to music, and I can then make a really good review about my experience. I'm not just
See,
like
see that's good to hear. And what I tacitly assumed is that you bring in a level of enthusiasm where you actually check the product and you're actually doing a sincere review.
if
Right.
you knew the amount of products that I didn't review, it would actually be there's probably a whole section in my garage on products that I'll write back to people and say, listen, I'm sorry, I can't really review this product because it's not going to be a good review. And I try to keep my channel pretty positive. And like while there's some things that are positive, I will talk about some cons of products, but they're more good, right? And if there's a product that I get that is just absolutely terrible, I won't review it. you
Yeah, I
know,
was going to
and
ask you about that too, which is
yeah,
because your channel is mostly positive, almost
I,
entirely.
I,
You're ranting and raging about
yeah.
how awesome these buds
Yeah,
are a lot of
and
the
I
time.
will, also caveat too, right? For this price, these sound good, right?
Right.
Now, a pair of $15 earbuds are going to be good for $15 earbuds. Now, I've gotten $15 earbuds that are completely like I wouldn't give them to my worst enemy. And those are the ones I write back and say, "Listen, I can't. I'm sorry. Really, I can't really review this well. So I'll cancel that. I'll cancel that." But the $15 earbuds, because look, I personally believe that not everybody has $100 to spend on earbuds, right? So if you're seeing something on TikTok Shop that's $15, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Hey, they sound good. They got loud. They got, they had pretty clear vocals, and the bass wasn't there. Like I couldn't get the bass here, but you don't have to listen to music that has a lot of bass. Me personally, I listen to bass intensive EDM, right? So it's like high bass, high treble. So, but for you, if you're just listening to earbuds for your like classical music or audiobooks or taking phone calls
Or podcasts. A
or
lot of
podcasts,
people listen to
a
podcasts,
lot
right?
of people listen to podcasts. You don't need bass in podcasts. So
No.
I'll caveat that, right? I'll say for the price, these sound good overall. You're not going to get bass, but they sound good
And
overall.
even medium tier headsets do that. These are good for the mids.
Yeah,
They're not great
yeah,
for EDM or heavy
yeah,
R&B, but they're good for spoken word, and they're good for the
yeah,
news, and they're good for basic kind of listening.
yeah.
And they
So
can range. It could be $100 and
I,
still do that well, right?
100%, and that's
Yeah.
what I caveat. And something that I can review well, I'll caveat the minuses, right? And some people
Yeah.
will comment, right? Some people comment like, "Oh, these are shit earbuds. Oh, these are terrible." And I'm like, "Find me a better pair of earbuds for less than $20, and I'll test them out for you." Like there's so yeah, but again, it's all relative. It's all relative, and I'm a personal believer in buying products that you can afford, right? I'll do things that I'll make reviews on products that are really expensive, and then I'll make reviews on products that are really cheap. And a lot of my beginning videos, and a lot of the ones where like I picked up a lot of traction, are the ones that and the brands that trusted me with their $15 earbuds, right? $20 earbuds. TikTok wasn't built on, brands selling, $1,000 headphones. They were built on brands selling these $15 earbuds. So I was
Yeah,
reviewing those
it's
at first.
commoditized affiliate marketing to a large extent, and you're
Yeah,
leading me into the next question, which is what segment really sells the best. So you're focused really on electronics for the most part, in gizmos and gadgets. You do a lot of
yeah,
car stuff. You do lighting. You've done a
yeah,
lot of lighting even
yeah,
recently. I've seen you do some cool lighting.
yeah,
So you do have a broad swath.
yeah.
Where's most of your traction based on what you've been
Um,
selling so
my
far?
my biggest seller. I moved a lot of units of this, and I got like 1.4 million views. Was an audio card. And for those of you who don't know what an audio card is, it's an essentially in a microphone set. So it's a microphone that attaches into a device where you can control how you sound. You can add in sound effects. You can beam in music. It's specifically designed for if you're creating content or if you're podcasting, if you're streaming. This was Yeah, if
Karaoke?
you're doing karaoke, it's specifically designed for that, and that did the best for me.
Oh, that's interesting. So you had the biggest reach. They loved just seeing that. And
Yeah,
then you actually unloaded product too. They bought through
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I also think that the brand liked the video, and they also put. So the way TikTok works is if a brand likes your video, you give them like a code, and they can actually pump advertising dollars behind it. So
That's an aspect of the affiliate program that a lot of people don't know about.
yeah,
So if you're a popular influencer, it's a positive feedback mechanism. You've built your base and you're
yeah,
pumping it out. but they'll actually do paid advertising behind you
behind me.
if you're doing well because you're an influencer and they like that. Have you yourself ever paid for reach since you started?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I jumped into the TikTok promote in the beginning.
Okay, good for you.
100,
Right.
100%. I
Yeah.
know you said you were organically stubborn.
I'm
I was
organically stubborn to this day. Yeah,
I
yeah.
I appreciate that. I haven't done that in a long time. And look, every other thing that I get on TikTok says, "Hey, would you like to promote this?" And I don't do that anymore, right? But in the beginning, when I was at the 3,000 mark, right? Listen, I started this as an experiment. So I had to try every aspect of what they offered, and I tried it. Right, I think I spent $20 one day. I spent another $20 another day. Then they gave me a coupon. I'm a sucker for a coupon, so I used a coupon. Probably all in, I did spend some money on promoting my brand and views and
And
followers.
zero shame in that. I mean, the whole model is
I
designed around that,
I I
and this
yeah,
backfires for me because I'm going organic often with my other channels and my other types of content where frankly tossing in some dollars would exponentially increase
yeah.
that reach.
Yeah, I mean, and remember when in the beginning when I started this, I was buying the products. So
Yeah.
for me, I was incentivized to get more people to follow, to get more people to engage, because I wanted people to start buying the products so that I can get more. So I can get more. Now, is that the best way to do it? I don't know. Are there people selling $1,000 courses that tell you that 10,000 followers in 4 weeks? Good for them, right? I just needed to, as an experiment, I needed to try everything, and that's what I did in the beginning. I got a little bit of success out of it. TikTok took my money, and it's fine, right? And
Yeah, but but
it
the
worked.
whole point though is you build to that critical mass,
Yeah,
and in social media, this idea of the Malcolm Gladwell tipping point is
yeah,
critical. If you're
yeah,
underneath that threshold, it's negative feedback. The
yeah,
less people see you, the less engagement you get. You're
yeah,
flying under the radar, and you keep bumping your head in that ceiling.
yeah.
If you get past that tipping point, you have exponential growth because it's
Yeah,
positive feedback. More people see you, the more people see you, the more people comment, more people like, the more comments and likes you get and
yeah,
shares, the more people are going to see you.
yeah,
So you need to get over that threshold to
yeah,
build.
yeah. 1,000%. If I looked at my DMs on TikTok a year ago versus my DMs on TikTok now from brands, it's exponentially
Yeah.
way more now. It's hard. It's actually hard to keep up now with how many DMs I get from brands. Like, hey, we got this. Hey, we got this. We'd love for you to see this. Where a year ago, I was reaching out to brands. Hey, I'd really love to review this. And now I have brands reaching out to me, which is nice. It's also really interesting. Here's like just the kind of like a really funny caveat. A year ago, I had like, friends and family making fun of me, like, oh, that's so cute. You're still doing that TikTok thing. Now I have friends and family who are like, hey, so is there like a website where I could sign up to get some of these things for free? And I'm like, oh, I wish it was that easy. And I'll explain to them like what it is and like the work that I put in, and immediately it's like, okay, oh, too much work, forget it.
Yeah, and maybe you might even have a few friends who are like, hey, pretty cool, Tino. They used to make fun of your ass.
That's what I'm
And now
saying.
they're like, hey, Tino, how do I get into that
That,
racket?
that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. They're like, hey, so we were looking at your things, and oh, we can do this. Where
Right.
can where can brands start sending me things? And I'm like, did you start anything yet? Well, no, but there's like a website, right? You can get free stuff. And I'm like, no, no, there isn't. It took me months of just reviewing things I had around the house and buying things to review before a brand even reached out. So it's not like you mentioned before, right? It's not an instant thing, or at least it wasn't for me. There may be some people they grow a little bit faster because maybe they have a better personality, they look better, they have like, a better resonation with the, resignation. They resonate better with the audience, and that's great. That just wasn't my experience.
I don't think it has anything necessarily to do with the fact that you resemble Brad Pitt as much as you do. I just think it's unbelievably crowded out there.
Yes,
It's
yes, yes.
packed. And whenever you're doing anything, like I'm doing my rants,
Yeah,
there's tens of thousands of dudes and chicks and whomever ranting about
oh,
everything.
yeah,
So cutting through the noise takes work,
yeah,
determination, daily content.
yeah,
Just got to
yeah,
keep at it. Frank Zappa said that there's two rules, which is like keep doing it and don't stop. If
yeah,
you want to make
yeah.
a name or at
What?
least get noticed, right?
Yeah. What's that? Like the 10,000 hour rule?
Yeah. Again,
The 10,
Gladwell again is
the
like you
10,
need to put in your
10.
time. There's no
Oh,
other way to get around it,
yeah.
especially in our attention economy, especially in such a crowded playing field.
There are people way more qualified to do reviews on tech, audio, gaming, right? And that is a really crowded market. But I did it. I went into this knowing that I did this because I was watching and consuming that content, and I said to myself, well, look, if I don't start now, I am never going to do this. And I actually I preach like stop watching the video and start making the video. Start use your time better. And so for me, if I didn't do this, I'd be very hypocritical. And so yeah, I just went all in. And yes, am I the most qualified to talk about things? Maybe not, but I will say this though: the more I talk about things, the more qualified I'm getting. Like
Yeah, and
I
the more
actually now have,
you got your enthusiasm. It's your
but I now
enthusiasm.
right, but I now have much more of a barometer on. Hey, these earbuds are. I've reviewed hundreds of earbuds, hundreds of headphones, hundreds of microphones now by now, right? And I now have a barometer and a little bit of knowledge to like what works and what doesn't work. Not only in like the creating the video, but also in the actual, for example, like the audio quality of this earbud is really good for a $15 earbud. The audio quality of this $200 headphones are really good for $200 headphones, but they're not as good as the $150 headphones that I tested last week.
Because you've
So
tried them all out. You've
I've
tried
tried
them
them
all
all
out.
out. Yes. Yeah. So I hope that in my constantly doing this, I'm also learning and constantly getting like raising my barometer of like what a good product looks like.
I think you're sharing some terrific best practices. And I think for our viewers and listeners, it might be cool to kind of go through a few of them. And if
Yeah,
we could really summarize, number one, there's no such thing as an overnight sensation in digital marketing, digital influencer marketing, and communications. It might seem like that because when something goes viral, it by definition flares. I
yeah,
like to use the example of some teenager sets his fart on fire, and instantly he's got 10 million views, a million followers, and boom, there he is. But
yeah,
it's about day to day consistency over time, putting in the time, energy, effort. And to your point, this is the second part of this best practice is pay to play. You can rely and keep, pray for earned media engagement. Like I'm so awesome and persistent that eventually it's going to blow up. It might do that, but it's going to be even slower. So if you want to, accelerate that curve just a little bit, it helps to have paid input on your part. The third
yeah,
thing that you've shared is just wing it, man. You don't know what'll work. If you're a reviewer, review your own shit. Like you got it around. Like I'm a podcaster, and I started podcasting by interviewing my niece, who's an acupuncturist, and my ex life partner runs a casting company. So start with the people you know. Start with the products that you have
Yeah,
on hand, and just build it up slowly from there. You get your chops better. You learn what works.
yeah,
I think those are some decent best practices to get going, right?
yeah. 100% agree with all of the ones that you've talked about. Um, Talk about things that you're passionate about, right? If you know that you can talk about, a video game really passionately, go into that, and start talking about that. But like, don't be a person who loves video games and start talking about pots, right? Like, oh, look at this pot that I just cooked
Yeah,
something in.
because you check the app and pots are trending, so you're
Yeah,
gonna talk about
so
pots,
you're
right?
going to talk about pot. But here's the thing: if you are a chef and you know pots and you can talk about pots, that is where you should go into, right? For me, I knew I was consuming content on the daily about electronics, whether it was gaming, PCs, or whatever. So I knew this is where I wanted to go, and that's sort of where I focused in on. What you said too about like don't don't make it perfect, just create the content. That is I'm a firm believer in that. um you have an 18 plus rating, right?
Which
you,
one?
you said you said you have an 18 plus rating on this, so if I curse it's going to be okay.
No, yeah. Apple put me in
Okay.
explicit. I even contacted
Good,
customer service. What
good.
happened? I'm not doing porn.
Yeah,
And all you
yeah.
need to do is say fuck, and you're you're explicit. So go
so
ahead, Tino.
in like my daily life and in like just my work experience, what I've learned is if you pencil fuck the shit out of something, it'll never get done. Right?
Right.
Like, and that's like a old copywriter, designer word, right? Because it's like, look, if I can sit there and adjust the spacing between the letters, I can spend hours doing that. Is the headline too small? Is it too big? Just make it look good and get it out the door. That's something that I learned in the beginning. Is I went into this, again, just constantly learning. And, do I take 15 takes on a product? No, I don't do that anymore. Now it's like, I know what I want to say. There is preparation in what I do. Like, again, I test out the products. Again, I'll look at some reviews. I'll go in and see the main talking points that I want to hit. But like, once I get that all in my head, I do everything in like one or two takes, and it's like, and I just get it out the door because the engagement and the views will tell me if I did it right or if I need to redo that video. And I do 2 to 3 videos per product, so I'll know like, okay, maybe that didn't work this time, but I'll do it again next time. So definitely just get the content out the door. Don't pencil fuck the product.
A thousand
Yeah,
percent with a thousand
yeah,
exponent on that.
yeah,
That is the biggest takeaway in content creation in general. Obsessing with perfection is
yeah,
asphyxiating, and it's going to
yeah,
kill you before you ever get started. Build a plane while you
yeah,
fly it. Keep tinkering with it. To your
yeah,
point, your audience is going to tell you whether it's good or not. You'll
yeah,
feel it in your heart,
yeah,
and just keep moving. The other thing I just want to add to that is back in the day, like you and I have been working in marketing and PR,
yeah,
big agency stuff for a long time. Back in the day, if you did or said one thing that was a fail, it could tank your brand. Nowadays, there's so much content that's in everyone's face that everyone's got the memory of a fly and the attention span that's even less. Nobody cares.
yeah,
Nobody cares. If you're going to blow it, no one will remember. And even if you do something great, they're going to expect something even better 5 minutes later. So
yeah,
the silver lining of all this is it doesn't matter if you fail. people have no recollection whether you exist or not until you're back on their phone.
You're only as good as your last at bat.
Right.
Okay. And look, if my last at bat was a fail, if I make something in an hour from now, that might be a win, right? I mean, it is
Yes.
really like, I just got to keep getting up to bat, right? This isn't a game where 3 strikes and I'm out. Nobody cares. Just
Nobody
right now.
cares.
Nobody cares. Even I had a we were talking about this earlier, right? But yeah, I had like a healthcare blog a long time ago, right? And I would take a month on a blog post, and some of those blog posts did well, right? But in a month, in a week, in a day from now, nobody even cared about that blog post that did well. So it's doesn't matter. And the amount of time and effort it took me to do my research, write it, then pencil fuck the shit out of it because I didn't like the way it sounded. Oh, does this sound good? Oh, does it? It took me a month, and then I just posted it, and I got the engagement in a day, and then after that, it was forgotten about. Right? So I just learned from that, and now in this day and age where like everybody is just flick, 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 flick. You don't have that kind of
Absolutely.
time.
I love that. And it's two sides of the same kind of coin. On the one hand, be true here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you're a chef, talk about steak knives and pots and chili peppers all you want. But if you're into electronics, you're wasting your time. Talk about lighting and earbuds and
yeah,
all the good stuff, the keyboard. So stay true to what you know,
yeah,
what you love, and the natural enthusiasm is going to come out. And with that comes an equally honest spirit of experimentation
yeah,
and just winging it, which is if it's coming from here, sometimes you're going to screw up. Sometimes it's going to be great. Not every video will be perfect. And nobody cares either way. What they do care about is how genuine you come across and
yeah,
how excited you are about your own content, because
yeah,
that's contagious. That is what brings people back.
yeah. I mean, I hope so. I hope so in my way, right? It's
Well,
definitely
if you got
I
the metrics, you're doing
yeah,
well, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah.
cranking it up. You're
It,
pissing off your family, which is always a good thing.
that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Right.
No, I'm only kidding. By the I made some jokes, but they've been really supportive of me from the beginning. The family in my household, anyway, have been very supportive of me from the beginning. I think my mom is my most watcher on YouTube, by the way. So
That's awesome.
she's,
Right.
by the way, she's probably the most watcher because she's got surrounded herself with like 2 iPads and the TV, and it's just like my face.
Right.
My mom is my traffic
That's,
fire. If you
that's my boy Tino.
Wow,
She's like
yeah, she's showing everybody
the old Australian mom, right? It was
she's
like
showing all of her friends. She's
my
like, "Look at
boy.
my son. Oh, your
Yeah.
son's an astronaut. That's nice. My son's on
Yeah.
YouTube."
Let's give her homage because you can reshare this video on your YouTube channel. Hey Ma, how you doing, Ma?
Hey, ma. Yeah, yeah. So she's having her talks with her friends. You know, whose son is a doctor, whose son's a lawyer. She's like, "That's okay. My son's on YouTube. That's nice."
That is awesome
uh,
sauce.
yeah, yeah,
So for best practices, we've nailed out a few really, really good ones. And in
yeah,
addition to all of these goodies, let's go back to the metrics part, which is being
yeah,
sensitive to what your audience likes. And
yeah,
here's where I am like hashtag fail. Because I'll even have a viral video, like something pops, 27,000 views. I've even had one go to 600,000 views on one Mookie video.
nice.
And instead of learning from that, B, catering future content to tap further into that niche audience, I've been like, whoa. I wake up the next day, well, what should I bloviate about this time? So I break all the rules and I pay for it. So I do a slipshod, half-assed, ad hoc, winging
Yeah,
it approach to content because I just want to have a good time. And I
yeah,
pay for it. It's like the guy when you play poker with your buddies who shows up with a bankroll and he's like, woo, let's play.
Yeah.
If you want to make money, if you want to be successful, and you want to conscientiously grow your audience, you got to take this stuff seriously.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I pass the mic back to you.
Yeah.
Educate me, Tino.
I am so yes. I've done that a couple times, right? With a couple videos that have like grown pretty big, and I always have an eye on the metrics, and that's the marketer in me, right? Like what's working,
Right.
what doesn't work. TikTok has some pretty cool tools in terms of you can reply to a comment inside of like your comments. You can reply to that comment with a video, and then it's a video that you post, and then you can have like that comment inside of the video that you post. And I've done that a couple times, especially on videos that have been really popular, and especially on things that like I'm pretty passionate about, right? And so that one video that got like 1.4 million views on that audio card, I did a ton of follow-up videos because a lot of people had
You wrote it off. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people had a lot more to say, or like, hey, how do I connect this here? Or what does the back look like? And so I would create another video. I'd show what the back looks like. Hey, how do you connect this? I don't understand. You just, now I would do another video. Look, you connect this USB-C cable to there, right to the phone, blah, 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 right? And so I've done that. Then there's also times where like I got a stockpile full of products that I need to review, and I now have to figure out like, okay, is it worth for me making another like a reply video to that, or do I need to just bang out these products that, by the way, are also incentivizing me because they're paying, like some of these products brands are paying me now, right? So they're like, I need to get these out the door too. So it really is a give and take, a balance, and you got to work that out in yourself. The metrics do tell you what works and what doesn't work. And I'm a firm believer in that. Again, just as a marketer, I'm a firm believer in that. So I do dive into my metrics once a week, and I figure out what's my best video, what's my worst video, and I try to figure out what worked in that video and what didn't work in the other video.
Share a few observations, because I'm curious, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers will be curious through the lens of Tino reviews. You're doing product reviews.
Yeah.
What kinds of things are working better than others that you've seen in terms of patterns? Because I think that's compelling, just even from an artistic, aesthetic point of view. What's resonating for people?
Yeah. So it's hard to say, and it's hard to say because my reviews are, while I do a review, right, and they're different products, right? So sometimes they're earbuds, sometimes they're headphones, sometimes they're gaming devices or game controllers. The things that like weirdly pop off for me are the short videos where I'll ask a question. And these aren't videos. Here's the weird thing. These aren't videos where I'm selling products. And yes, I've had some videos where I've sold products that have popped off really well. But like my last video that like got a crazy amount of views was I just left Best Buy and I just bought I just bought the PlayStation Portal. And I was, I was in the parking lot. I saw the sign behind me and I'm like, here's just a really quick
I saw that one. That popped into my For Yous.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, I just picked off the PlayStation Portal at Best Buy for Cyber Monday. It was a great deal. Who's got one and what do you think?
Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah.
Maybe a 7-second video. And it was like like I get people who are like, it's shit. It's the best. I love it. Oh, those people that say it's shit, they don't really have good in like, and I'm going in there and I'm replying, and that video was like a 7-10 second video, and I'm not selling anything in that video. It was me. It was talking about my purchase and asking a question. I'll also go and like, if there's like a new game to download, like I've downloaded a game and said, hey, just download this game. Who's online right now? Like, what do you think? That video will pop off. Or if there's like, one of my videos that popped off was what was that? The Last Dragon movie came on Netflix, and it was my favorite movie as a kid. And I was like, guys, The Last Dragon's on Netflix. who's watching this? And like that popped off. It was like, people talking about the movie or people talking show enough. And like, so it is weird things that kind of pop off. One kind of thing that I'm seeing is that these shorter videos do tend to go much quicker, much faster. So yeah, I think if I'm gonna review all of I'm almost at, I think, 3,000 videos I've posted. The shorter ones get more attention because like TikTok's algorithm really does prioritize views and that engagement percentage. So while that 7-second video, most people take 7 seconds just to flip up. So if more people are taking that like 4 seconds out of a 7-second video, TikTok says, oh, that's 80% of the video. People are watching it. Let's push it out more. That is, I think, a very real thing that I can confidently say. Shorter videos do a lot better than longer form videos on TikTok.
So just shorter videos do better for that feedback loop that you're talking about. Like off the cuff videos that don't necessarily sell or focus on a product, but tap into an established meme, event, popular piece of content. Like, your PlayStation experience. You're going shopping. It's a movie that's got buzz around it. So your Tino reviews, you've already got your base, and TikTok already knows you and favors your content because you're getting sustained engagement and you're a daily poster. And then you could, like we used to talk about in our marketing lives, right? Which is an unbranded ad, which is like your Tino review is not reviewing anything. You're talking about, playing Pokemon or seeing some cool movie, and they're into it. And you're going to get a lot of people outside your follower base too. It's going to expand, and then they're going to follow you. Like, this guy's funny. Tap.
Yeah. And asking a question, posing that question gets people engaged in comments.
Right.
Where like my review videos, people ask questions because they want to know about the product, but I don't end my review videos with asking a question. I do say, hey, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. The problem is that's 4 minutes into my video. Nobody's watching my video for 4 minutes. Nobody. Except my mom.
The drop-offs are incredible.
Yeah, the drop-offs are incredible. So those shorter videos that have like popped off for me, that I'm not selling anything, I'm just kind of like asking questions. I ask questions within that like 7-second mark, and that'll get people engaged because people will like instantly see that and like, oh yeah, oh man, this is the best, or no, that's the worst, or oh, I love that. So yeah, shorter the better. Ask questions. All those things that you named are definitely things to consider.
The best practice is to keep going. So I think this is a great summary. This is almost a mini tutorial pro bono from Tino. From Tino Reviews, helping everybody out, get a jump start. No problem. And to follow you, you're at Tino Reviews on all the channels, right? Did you manage to get that URL or that profile name for all the channels?
It's at Tino_reviews.
Okay, cool.
So,
and then so TikTok, YouTube, those are your two prominent ones. Instagram is just kind of sailing along, right?
Tap like and subscribe.
Tap like and subscribe. And lastly, I can't leave you before we talk about the future evolution. That's redundant, future evolution. But you're evolving in the future. You're growing. How do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months? You've had a steady growth curve. And like most of these things, it's logarithmic or at least exponential like that. Slow to start. Doing your own thing, you reach that magic tipping point that starts to accelerate. Now you're cooking. You're doing pretty well for yourself. How do you see this thing growing? Where do you want to take it? What's in store for people who follow you and people who should?
All right. So if I'm thinking about this channel in like a year from now, so here's the thing. So in a year from now, I'd love to go to CES next year. I've been invited to go to CES the past 2 years, right? So even at my smaller following, 2 years ago, people were asking me like, "Hey, are you going to CES?" I honestly think they ask everybody, "Are you going to CES?" so they can, lock up with you on some videos. I'm not going to go this year, this 2026 year, but the following year, I think I would like to go to CES or do something where it's in that kind of vein, right? Where I'm creating content on the fly, creating content for brands on the fly. I'd love to do that. I'd love more brand deals. I this year got some brand deals which were pretty cool, where bigger companies have reached out to me, and these are companies that like I'm at the store buying, and here they are reaching out to me saying, "Hey, we got this new thing. It'd be great if you can review it by this day because it's coming out." So like launch day things. I'm doing that now. I want to do more of that next year. Paid partnerships. I'm a big fan of paid partnerships. I would want to be doing more of that. And look, I am just going to constantly evolve. I'm constantly going to figure out what's working, what's not working, and I'm just going to constantly publish the content until I don't have any more products to review. So I don't have a super long term thing. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully, brands start to recognize that, and I'll get more and more brand partnerships. That's my near term goal.
That's awesome. I think it's inspirational because you're a self-made dude in terms of just on a whim picking up your phone and going for it,
Yeah,
and it's been an organic process through and through, and you're learning as you go, and most importantly, you're having a blast, which conveys itself in the
yeah,
content that you're sharing. As a viewer and as a Tino fan, my personal favorite, just because I'm the one sitting here talking to you on this podcast, is when you change it up a little bit. So when you're
yeah,
reviewing from your car, like your it's a car gadget, it's a little
yeah,
light blinky light on your tail light,
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
inside, whether it's
yeah,
a cool cup holder or stuff like that. I like it when I see Tino in these different environments,
yeah,
like in your car, maybe even in a different room. And to your point, when you're out by Best Buy holding the product, this
yeah.
idea that like Tino out in the wild, I
Tino in
think
the wild.
in the wild is pretty fun, pretty fun. And I
Yeah,
also like when you change it up with some of the creative stuff too, like the keyboard video where you open with just the clicky clicks, right?
yeah,
It changes the rhythm of
yeah,
these. You're still on brand, but it tweaks it a little bit, and it's kind of fun. And
yeah,
even if I'm not particularly into that product or I'm not shopping per se, it's a fun just going through the
yeah,
phone and seeing Tino pop up.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I do like I do try to like um when you're creating content, there is definitely like blocks of time that I have to create that content, right?
Right.
So I will shoot 10 videos in my office. I will shoot 10 videos in my other space that I have for videos. I'll shoot another 10 videos outside, right, in my car. So I do try to keep it different, but and I do try to like change up the format a little bit, just because I do want to. I'm constantly testing. I'm constantly testing what's
Oh
working
yeah,
better,
I
what's
can
not.
totally relate. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm the guy about like 90% of my videos, I'm in my kitchen in front of
yeah,
my blinds ranting.
yeah,
So my resolution for this year is to start doing some video shenanigans.
yeah,
I wanna do the little cutout of Mookie with the
yeah,
dynamic backgrounds, and I've
yeah.
got
The
some
green
opening
screen.
stuff. So I'm gonna start adding some digital
Yeah,
schmaltz. I like downloaded DaVinci Resolve, and I'm gonna like
nice,
play around with the video, and
nice.
and it's harder. This shit's harder, and it kind of transitions into the realm of work because rather than just grab my phone and bloviate and post, I gotta get into a little bit of production,
Yeah,
and and I think it's a worthy goal because I'm getting tired of seeing myself rant in my kitchen. I
yeah,
wanna I wanna change this up a little bit.
yeah. You said something interesting because you said it's turning into work. And I do want to, like, if we're gonna shut down this, we're gonna shut down soon. I do want to say there is a bit of work involved
Yes.
in this, right? This isn't something that you know you turn on your phone and you instantly just start talking and whatnot, right? For me, it definitely is a little bit of extra work. There's I get these products and I do test out the products. I do my research. I research every product that I actually talk about. I find out how long is the battery life. I look at the reviews. I'll look at like what people are saying because like I want to go in with an informed information. And so there is a bit of work to this. It's not just picking up your phone and just blabbing on your phone, to to an audience, right? It is a little bit of work. So for anybody who wants to get into this, just know that you do got to put some time behind what you're doing.
I think that's the best capper and best practice to share after all the goodies we've unloaded, which is grit, determination, frequency of output, committing time, but
Yeah.
also work. Like take it seriously,
Yeah.
focus, be sincere about it, right?
And
Practice what you
constantly
preach.
and constantly learn.
Yeah.
Learn from the people that are doing it really well. Learn from your data and like just be open to trying different things too.
Absolutely. It was a real pleasure having you on the pod. Bald Ambition, folks. Tino.
Mookie, it's been a
Yo.
pleasure. I
It's been a
appreciate you
real
inviting me
pleasure.
on.
Check them out. Tino Reviews on TikTok. Like, comment, share on this damn podcast. And I'd love to follow up with you in 6 months, a year, to see baseline where you're at now, where you're headed. And you're
Let's
an
do it.
inspiration to all of us, which is just go for it. And you're an inspiration to me too, because of your
Oh, man.
enthusiasm and your eagerness to actually pay attention to what your audience likes.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
that's
you.
a good thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It was great to catch up. And yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
happy to come back anytime.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. We will see you soon.